If you have ever Googled the question, am I an alcoholic? I want you to stop right now and listen to me. That one question is keeping you stuck in shame, confusion, and on the endless cycle of the merry-go-round that is alcohol exhaustion, the moderation conundrum, the back and forth, the tug of war every single day. I am going to teach you why the one question, am I an alcoholic, is actually keeping you stuck, and the one question that will set you free. But first, let me guess how you got here. So it's 2 a.m. and you are Googling, am I an alcoholic, for the third time this month. You've done the checklists, you've done the quizzes, you've been on the Reddit threads, and all the while you are more confused and finding all of the reasons why it just doesn't make sense. You don't fit the stereotype. You're not Susie drinking vodka for breakfast. You are a great mom. You get your stuff done. You manage everything. You hold it together, but something's got to give because it's 2 a.m. and you're Googling, am I an alcoholic? And you are not happy with the result that alcohol is giving you. And I have really good news for you. There is a way out. If we haven't met yet, my name is Mary Wagstaff. Welcome. And if you are back, welcome back. I am a holistic alcohol coach for women. I've been doing this work for over 5 years, and I have helped women with varying degrees of relationships to alcohol from all over the world really effortlessly release alcohol and the need to justify or explain why to anyone but to themselves. And the best part about this empowered approach of sobriety is that it is just that. It is the next level. It's like going to a mastermind. It's really up-leveling our experience versus counting days, making excuses, having to attach to labels. It's about an empowered approach to really choosing from our own feminine, deep knowing the life that we really want, especially as we get older in age. We really step into that place of intuitive guidance and empowerment and becoming really unbothered by what other people think and needing to fit into some mold for someone else, where our authenticity is what's leading the conversation, that we are no longer worried about fitting in. We're more worried about losing our authentic expression. So, are you an alcoholic? Girl, only if you want to be. I am here to tell you that term is completely made up. They don't even use that term anymore in the medical model. They use a term, alcohol use disorder, which is a spectrum of use and dependency. The term alcoholic was actually made in the late 1700s simply to describe someone who was addicted to alcohol. So that term has been adopted, but it also carries so much weight with it. It was adopted initially by the medical model, but then, of course, society at large. We see it in media and we see it referenced, and we have a very big, bright image in our head of what we think when we think of an alcoholic. And you might even have a loved one in your life that everyone in your family talked about as an alcoholic. And it's like, of course, I don't want to be that. I'm not that. So what am I then? Well, you are yourself, and that is the best part. Because the term alcoholic was used to describe someone being addicted to alcohol, I think it's really important to understand that addiction is a very natural thing that happens to all human beings. Especially in our modern culture, we live in a dopamine-driven society where pretty much everyone you know is addicted to something. There is a reward association with some form of behavior that is driven through dopamine. You wouldn't be drinking if there was something on the other side of it you weren't getting. Now, for me, the term addiction can be loaded if you want it to be, or it can be neutral. If you do something with enough frequency and for long enough, you will become addicted. And the good news is it's actually the way that your brain learns. If we didn't learn through repetition and through a pleasure response and association, we would be learning the same things all the time, over and over again. Alcohol is very socially acceptable. So there's all these beliefs that we've created with it. But the behavior of alcohol also has a very strong chemical reward because the substance of alcohol itself, is addictive, right? So if you can look at addiction as just another experience that humans have, just like being depressed, just like being excited, just like being fearful of something, that you can have that experience in a moment and then unlearn that experience to no longer have it. I'm sure there's a habit in your life that you can think of that you used to do that stopped serving you and you no longer do. I was addicted to alcohol. I thought about it all day, every day for a very long time. Now, in the early days, I didn't really think about it as much. Of course, there was a lot of contemplation, especially on the days after, but it was after I had my son where I really started to be in that alcohol exhaustion state and really admitting to myself. And I mean, of course, if you're thinking about alcohol, am I going to drink? When am I going to drink? When am I not going to drink? There is this habitual addiction formed in your brain. But the good news is that you can once be addicted to something and then no longer addicted. And this is where I think a lot of the traditional recovery models, which there's no shame in any of them, there's no one size fits all approach that serves people and the varying degrees in relationships they have to alcohol, is this idea that alcohol is something that is normal, but the person, the alcoholic, can never change. And that's simply just not true. So, in the very popular serenity prayer used in the AA community, which I absolutely love this prayer, where they say, accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can. So, when they say, accept the things I cannot change, they are saying me. And the courage to change the things I can is also me. So it's very it's kind of contradictory, right? But in my perspective, the things I cannot change are alcohol, the chemical of alcohol itself. You cannot change that. You cannot change what it does to your body and the results that it gives you. And whether it's 1 or 10 or 20, it doesn't really matter because there is a reason that you're drinking. There's something alcohol gives you that you don't know how to do for yourself. You do, but you don't think you do. And it's a very quick way to get to some version of that reward. But the thing that you can change is you. You can learn to do what you think alcohol does for you, but way better. So words are spells. The words that we say create the vibration in our body. If you have a big belief system around alcoholic and just the word alcoholic itself makes you feel pretty cringy, well, it's not really that useful. Even if the term addiction makes you feel cringy, I know there are people that will swear they drank and then they didn't drink. I was never addicted to alcohol. I kind of owned it, right? And to me, it's not a problem. Many of my clients that come to me just own the fact, yeah, I'm addicted to alcohol. Kind of like, so what? So are you, right? So are most people that drink. Because you know, when you have an intention to not drink and then you do, or you say no to something, then there's resistance. Chances are there's an addiction. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it a strong habit. You can say that I formed a habit or a relationship with alcohol, but the words that you use matter. So choose wisely. And that is why the question, am I an alcoholic, simply doesn't serve you because A, it's outdated. It's supposed to be this broad spectrum umbrella term that has all these negative connotations to it. And it's just not really serving anyone. And when we label ourselves, it's so limiting to what's possible for you. I don't associate myself really as a sober person or an addict or an alcoholic or anything like that. On the other side of alcohol, what I teach my clients is that they just get to become more of themselves. I became more authentically Mary, and this is what's possible for you too. Our beliefs are created through repetitive thinking. Repetitive thinking are the words that we say on repeat. So if we're always telling ourselves a story that has this real cringy feeling to it, that feels disempowered, that feels really shameful, that feels like a trap, that feels like I'll always be stuck, that feels like complete deprivation, and then I have to associate with this group of people that doesn't sound empowered or good, where's the motivation there? So my invitation to you is to throw away anything that you knew or have known about alcohol and recovery and sobriety, and trust that you are on your own journey, and your journey away from alcohol is just as unique as your own life experience, and everyone's life experience is unique and different. There is a system though that can work for you, that can be applied to your uniqueness, to your specific lifestyle, depending on how you live your life. If you travel, if you're married, if you're a parent, if you're an entrepreneur, if you are in a leadership role. And this process is what I call the 5 shifts. And it is the process that I lead. And if you go to my channel and you watch the series of the blind spots that are sabotaging your sobriety, you will learn inside of those 5 videos all of the 5 shifts that will help shift you from the perspective that you have now to where you want to go. I also teach them in my course, the Sobriety Starter Kit, which is all about how to make sobriety simple. And of course, in my private one-on-one coaching mentorship, and all of the links are right here in the description. So what you really need to ask yourself is, why does it matter if I'm an alcoholic? We often like to put ourselves in these boxes to really make sense of things. We want to know the inside, the outside, the up, the down, right? I think especially as women too, we want to be able to have this kind of closure of understanding, but that can also happen not by what some external definition or medical model or system or someone else's experience is telling you and giving you permission to say, okay, that's me, box checked. But this is an opportunity to really step into your sovereign, empowered, feminine self, to decide for yourself, why does it matter that alcohol. So here is the question. If you're not an alcoholic, do you still like the results that you're getting from alcohol? And this is where you get to take your power back. You get to decide. Alcohol is no longer giving me the results I want, and this is why. And you get to answer that question for yourself, whether it's one, whether it's every day, whether it's 20 days. And for most women that are here now and that come to me, they are over the daily mental exhaustion of alcohol, of solving for it, of figuring it out, of planning it, of starting over, of one drink, of moderation. It is exhausting. And that conflict has you on the fence. So you don't need to make the decision, I'm never drinking ever again, because alcohol will forever and always be a choice. Even if you call yourself an alcoholic, it doesn't really matter. But what you do get to decide is, I can step on the other side of the fence for a while and just look around. How is this better? What are all of the skills that I actually do have that I think I only can use alcohol for, right? We say things like, I can't handle it, or it's too much. But the truth is you do. All of the things you think alcohol is doing for you, you do know how to do for yourself, but better. You just need to practice them. And that's where our time together comes in, where every single week we get to celebrate, plan, implement, and evaluate. It is a process that helps you not just learn new habits and replace alcohol, but actually helps you unlearn and break down the belief ladder that you have around alcohol, and completely disassemble it and completely disprove all of the beliefs that you have around alcohol that are keeping you stuck, and rebuild a new ladder for the version of yourself that you are ready to step into on the other side of alcohol, the things that you will never be able to experience as long as alcohol is in the way. So you have to continue to look at what you're moving towards versus what you're moving away from. Check out the links below. And the very first place to start is the 60 Seconds to Calm guide. It's a free guide that will help you find relief in less time than it takes to pour a drink. So check out the 5 shifts video, and I will see you next time.